Good morning everyone. This video is for the students of class 7th, subject English. This is my revision video in which we shall revise our lesson number 7 tenses from PC Ren's grammar book and lesson number 5 quality from our Honeycomb book. So first of all, let's start with tenses. Now what do you mean by tenses? Tenses are the forms of a verb that are used to show the time of the action expressed by the verb. Or we can say tenses tell us whether an action takes place in the past, present or future. Now, based on time frame, tenses can be classified in three parts, that is present tense, past tense and future tense. So, as I told you that tenses can be divided in three parts, present, past and future. Now these three parts, present tense, past tense and future tense, are also subdivided in four parts each. For example, present tense is divided in four parts, that are present indefinite tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense and present perfect continuous tense. Similarly, past tense is also divided in four parts, past indefinite tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense. And future tense is also divided, future indefinite tense, future continuous tense, future perfect tense and future perfect continuous tense. Now we shall revise these 12 types of tenses separately. So the first type is simple present tense. Now, what do you mean by simple present tense? Simple present tense is used to state facts and habits. For example, they live in Delhi. Rosie lives in Delhi. So what is the formation of simple present tense? In this tense, we use V1 plus S or ES. Now the question arises, where do we use S or ES? S or ES will be used with singular subject. Otherwise, with plural subject, we will use only verb first form. We will not add S or ES with the verb in case of plural subject. For example, you can say they live in Delhi. Now they is plural, so there is no S or ES. But Rosie is singular. That's why in this sentence I have added S with verb first form. Clear? Now the next is present continuous tense. What do we mean by present continuous tense? The present continuous tense is used to describe events, situations and actions going on at present time. For example, she is going to market, children are playing. Now in this tense we use V1 plus ing and with subject we will use is, am or are. Is with singular subject, are with plural subject and am with I. Okay. The next type is present perfect tense. What do we mean by present perfect tense? Present perfect tense is used to indicate an action that has been completed just now. Action that started some time ago and is still continuing till the time. For example, he has gone, or we can say I have received the letter. So what is the formation of present perfect tense? In this tense we use has or have with verb third form. Has is used with singular subject, whereas have is used with plural subject. And I. The next type is present perfect continuous tense. Now, where do we use this tense? We use the present perfect continuous tense to talk about actions which began at some point in the past and are still going on. This tense is often used with how long, since, and for. For example, I have been singing since morning. Now, what is the formation of present perfect continuous tense? Its formation is has have plus been plus V1 plus ing. Same, has is used with singular subject and have is used with plural subject. The next tense is simple past tense. This tense is used to express an action completed in definite past or express a habit in the past. For example, it rained yesterday. Now this sentence is showing the action that completed in past. See the second example. As a young man, I tracked a load. Now this sentence shows my habit in the past. So what is the formation of simple past tense? In this tense, we use verb second form of verb. Now, the second type of past tense is past continuous tense. This tense is used to talk about something that was going on at a definite time in the past. Okay, so it shows the work that was going on in past. For example, he was going to school. They were playing with Monu. So the formation of past continuous tense is was were plus V1 plus ing. Was is used with singular subject, whereas were is used with plural subject. Now the next type is past perfect tense. When two actions completed in the past, past perfect shows which action is completed before the other one. Okay, so when two action has been completed in past, this tense shows which action was completed before the other one. For example, he had already heard the news. The bell had rung before I reached the school. So there in second sentence, if you see, there are two actions: the ringing of the bell and reaching the school. So the which action happened first? The bell had rung before I reached the school. So this sentence shows that the bell had rung first and after that I have reached the school. So that's why this tense is used to show which action is completed before the other one. What is the formation for this tense? The formation is had plus verb third form. And here had is used with both singular and plural subjects. The next one is past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous tense is used to talk about an action which began at a time in the past but continued till another time also in the past. For example, it had been raining since morning. He had been working hard for 10 years. Now this tense talks about an action which began at a time in the past but continued till another time also in the past. Okay, so the formation for past perfect continuous tense is had plus been plus verb first form plus ing. Now instead of has or have, we will use had, and had is used with both subject singular and plural. Okay, now next tense is future tense. The first type of future tense is simple future tense. Simple future tense is used to say what we think or know will happen in the future. For example, Sheetal will visit us tomorrow. Or we can say, I shall go to the party tomorrow. So what is the formation of simple future tense? Will, shall plus verb first form. Okay, so basically what do we mean by simple future tense? This tense is used to say what we think or know will happen in the future. This tense is used to show future. The next type is future continuous tense. The future continuous tense is used to talk about an action in progress at a particular time in future. Or we can say this tense is used to express or to talk about an action that will continue in future. For example, we shall be playing a football match on Sunday. She will be waiting for me. So what is the formation of this tense? The formation is will be or shall be plus verb first form plus ing. The next type is future perfect tense. The future perfect tense indicates that action which will have been completed at some point in the future. So this tense shows an action that will be completed at some point in future. For example, I shall have finished the work before tomorrow morning. So this sentence is showing future perfect tense. The formation of future perfect tense is will have or shall have plus verb third form. Okay? The last type of tense is future perfect continuous tense. Now, what is future perfect continuous tense? This tense is used to talk about an action in progress before and up to a specific point of time in future. Or we can say this tense describes actions that will continue up until a point in the future. Okay, so what happened when we describe an action in this tense? We are projecting ourselves forward in time and looking back at the duration of that activity. Okay, the activity will have begun sometime in the past, present, or in the future and is expected to continue in the future. For example, we shall have been solving the sums since morning. So what is the formation of this tense? Will have been or shall have been plus verb first form plus ing. Okay. So this was your lesson number 7, tenses, from your PC Rain's grammar book. Now we shall revise a lesson 5, quality, from our Honeycomb book. So the story starts with the description of the boot shop. On top was the nameplate Gessler Brothers and a few shoes displayed on the window. They make shoes on order. Who makes shoes on order? Gessler Brothers. The narrator then narrates one of his meetings with Mr. Gessler. He says it has not been possible to go to him much because the shoes he made have lasted very long and are the best of their kind. Now, who is he? He is the narrator of the story. Now, the narrator says that it was not possible for him to visit Mr. Gessler very soon. Why? Because he made such quality shoes that they lasted very long. One day the narrator goes to their boot shop and tells him that the last shoes he got from him creak. Okay, so one day he visited Mr. Gessler and told him that the shoes which Mr. Gessler made for him were cracked. Okay, they cracked. After a long pause, Mr. Gessler asks him to bring the shoes to him. Now, Mr. Gessler was shocked to hear this and he asked the narrator to bring the shoes back to him. He assures that if he can't repair them, he will give the money back. Another day he goes to Gessler Brothers to order a new pair, wearing a pair of shoes which he bought due to some emergency from a big firm. Mr. Gessler at once recognizes that the shoes are not made by him. So what happened? Another day he goes to Gessler Brothers and in a hurry due to some reason he has to wear shoes which he bought from a big firm. And Mr. Gessler noticed it and recognized that the shoes which he was wearing were not made by him. He touches a particular spot on the narrator's shoe where it is not comfortable for the narrator and says that it hurts there. He expresses his contempt that those large firms attract customers through shiny, impressive advertisements to sell their inferior quality products. So, what happened? Mr. Gessler tried to show the narrator that the quality of the shoes were not good. The quality of the shoes which he bought from the big firms were not good, and he tried to express his feelings towards those large firms who attract customers through catchy advertisements and sell their poor quality products. Then the author explains to him under what circumstances he had to buy those shoes. The new shoes lasted nearly 2 years, and in his next visit he receives quite a shock. Now, what happened? The author tried to explain Mr. Gessler that under what circumstances he had to buy those shoes. And the shoes at that time which he bought from Mr. Gessler, those shoes lasted very long. They lasted for nearly 2 years. And after 2 years, when he visited him, the narrator received a quite shock. When he enters the shop, he sees the younger Gessler brother who informs him of elder Gessler's death. That day he orders several pairs. It takes longer to make them, but the quality is even better than the previous ones. Soon after, the narrator leaves for abroad and returns after over a year. The first shop he goes to is Mr. Gessler's. Mr. Gessler, now 75, is unable to recognize him at first. Now what happened? After 2 years, when the narrator visited Mr. Gessler's shop, he noticed that one Gessler brother informed him about the death of the other elder brother. Okay, so then he took the boots, and those quality boots were even better than the previous ones. And soon then, narrator leaves for abroad and returned after a year. The first thing he did was he visited Mr. Gessler's shop, and now Mr. Gessler was 75 and was unable to recognize him. Narrator gives a huge order. The wait is longer than ever, but the quality only gets better. After a week, while passing the little street, the narrator thinks to go in and tell Mr. Gessler that the boots are perfect. Now what happened? Narrator decided that he should thank Mr. Gessler for such quality pair of shoes, for such quality of product. Then he went inside, and what happened? But when he goes to the place where the shop was, the nameplate is no longer there. Disturbed, he goes into the shop and a young English face greets him. The narrator inquires about Mr. Gessler and comes to know of younger Gessler's death. Now what happened? When the narrator reached the Gessler brothers' shop, he noticed that their nameplate was not there. And then he saw a English face welcoming him into the shop. Then he inquired, or he asked about Mr. Gessler, and from that Englishman he came to know that the younger Gessler brother was no more, and he came to know about his death. Upon hearing this, the narrator is quite shocked. The young man explains to him that Gessler died from starvation. What is starvation? Hunger. He used to devote himself to shoemaking so much that he used to forget about everything else. Now the Englishman told the narrator the reason of Mr. Gessler's death was starvation, that he was not having money to eat something. He was so busy in making shoes that he couldn't take out time for himself. All the money went in the rents and leather, and whatever the money Mr. Gessler could earn from the quality shoes he sell, the money went in the rent of the shop and leathers, good quality of leather. The fate was quite obvious from the beginning, but both the narrator and the young man agrees that the Gessler brothers made good quality boots. Okay? So, this was your revision video of lesson 5 quality from Honeycomb and lesson 7 tenses from PC Ren's grammar book. Now, you have to revise these two chapters and you have to do given assignment on EdQuack website. Thank you. I hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, then please subscribe the channel.